Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lisa Baker, President of Leeds Jewish Representative Council. I had the honour of being re-elected as President last week, and I am very grateful to Radio JCOM for giving me the opportunity to repeat my address at the AGM and share it with the wider community. Some people may say 12 months ago our community was in crisis mode. The Moortown Deli closed its doors, Donisthorpe was receiving negative CQC inspections, and people thought we were a fractured community. I don't accept that, and here we are 12 months on, and I can only see positives. Donisthorpe responded. They are a more stable organisation. They have a new fundraising committee and a new board doing wonders. They're working closely with the Welfare Board, and indeed both of them with LJRC, our three welfare organisations, have an open dialogue. LJRC listened to tenants and abandoned the development of Highmoor. They held their increasingly successful Shabbat, where 200 people had the options of 4 different Shabbat services catering for all, and they are now consulting on a new development. Our synagogues are working together. We had a communal Purim services last week, Communal Shabbat UK, and 2 synagogues are openly talking to each other, and Sinai welcomes its new rabbi imminently. From the ashes of the Moortown Deli rose the Pesach pop-up shop, made possible by Marshall Freeze, Simon Williams, and the support of key members of the community. If it's not an example of community resilience, what is? 12 months on, it reopens in partnership with Gourmet, and I wish them every success. Educationally, we're doing amazingly well. LJFS had the second best GCSE results in Leeds with their first cohort. Brodetsky had a good Ofsted report, and they're working in partnership with Educating for Impact, EFI. They're coming to the end of the first phase of working out what the school wants its young children to be, what they need to be, and how they should be community-minded when they leave. That partnership came from us, my predecessor Lawrence Saffer, and the progress that's been made at Brodetsky is already reflected in the outstanding Pekuach results. There's a cohort of young professionals moving back to Leeds. I'm aware of it, and I would like to think that myself and Susie were predecessors moving here 15 years ago. We are seen as a viable alternative to London, where young professionals are priced out of the market. Our community is seen as having something to offer. We're working with Junction, The Zone, Shaliach, young professionals, Eljoy and the students. We also have thriving smaller organisations. Bracha Journey successfully had a Shabbat. I spoke at the J Pride Shabbat. Wheatso events are thriving, and we have the youngest Wheatso committee in the country, if not the world. UJA and McCaw, to name a few, are serving our community with interesting religious and cultural events, and I am proud to be able to be supporting JCOM by repeating my speech tonight for them. Within the LJRC, Susie has important roles. She's part of the steering group for EFI, and she's coordinating Community Day, the planning of which we've passed back to the community. She's looking at deepening engagement, hosting and facilitating spaces for our chief executives, looking at cross-communal marketing and establishment of a new community website. Volunteer coordination is key, and she's also finalising the crisis plan. Anne supported Mitzvah Day, coordinated Shabbat UK, where there was so much going on. She's responsible for our yearbook and is working closely with the Kollel to enhance their work. Eva is supportive of both Susie and Anne, writing blogs, press releases, and working closely with Ajax and the Major Barons group of the British Legion. It would be remiss of me not to mention Mickey Weiss, seconded from the JLC as our political beast in the North East and Midlands. And I'd like to thank my supportive directors, Simon with Interfaith, who's provided a separate report, Simon Jackson for governance and the yearbook and general advice, Lawrence as past presidents, and Alan for finance. It would be remiss of me not to mention the support we've received from JDC, in particular David Gidron, and I'd like to thank our sponsors for the yearbook for the past year and next, Big Change Apps. What have I done? Well, I've not just swanned around at the Ambassador's Reception, House of Lords and Number 10. I've met with all MPs in Leeds, save 2. I lobbied Leeds City Council to adopt IRA without amendment. I challenged Fabian in the summer when he said the community needed to be less hysterical and angry, and we will be facilitating an event with him when our MPs sort out Brexit. I'm getting regular updates from the JLC and the Board of Deputies regarding the wider Labour Party issues and liaising with Mickey. I've appeared on national and local ITV News talking about hate crime statistics and was interviewed on local radio about the effects of anti-Semitism on our community. The Solidarity event for Pittsburgh was an incredible event. I wish we hadn't have had to organise it, but we did. And we reached out to local mosques and offered support after Christchurch. I attended a memorial event at one, and we've also supported our university campus following recent events there. With others, I've met with local bishops, spoke at the Christian and Jews for Israel event, Concord event, and Women in Faith event at the Town Hall. I've spoken at GSAL, attended Wheatsoe events, school events, synagogue events, most significantly Harrogate Synagogue's Holocaust Memorial Day event when Eric Hirsch spoke. I facilitated a visit from the Board of Deputies, met with fellow representative councils regularly, and indeed attended Manchester Representative Council centenary dinner. I've met all affiliates who have asked to meet me, but my work isn't not always visible. You may have heard that the zone became recently fully kosher and has a full kosher licence. That took 6 months of negotiation, but it's more importantly given those observant members of the community somewhere to go after 3:30 when our Maz Cafe closes. Remembrance Weekend last November was my first. I attended many events including Shabbat at UHC, and I represented the community in laying a wreath at the Town Hall. I spoke at our event as well. And to ensure sustainability of this important weekend, we're working closely with the Ajax and the British Legion, and we're taking the lead. And these events will have slightly different format next year. One of my highlights was speaking at a leadership summit organised by the JDC and ECJC in Prague. I spoke on a panel about community resilience to 250 people from across Europe. Feedback from the JDC has been positive, and we are being held out internationally as a community that is united, stronger and responsive. So much so that the JDC sent a reporter from the US to interview key members of the community to find out more and feature as a success. That article is awaited. I've done all of this whilst working full-time, being a mum to Bella and a wife to long-suffering Leslie. Who says younger people don't have time to volunteer for their community? What we do is reliant on the support of you, our community, which is made up of many hard-working paid staff and even more hard-working volunteers and lay leaders. Without every single one of them, our community wouldn't be the jewel it is today. So where do we go from here? We're not resting on our laurels. Much more is to be done. We are here for you, the community, and we want to hear from you as well as speaking for you and make a difference. And we can only do that with your support. Please join our journey into the next year with the hope for an even stronger, more united community. Please forgive me if I've not mentioned your organisation, event or thank you. That omission is mine alone, but I am proud of us all and what we have to offer. Alex Webster from CST couldn't be here today, but has asked me to read a report. Before I do, I want to put on record on behalf of the community how grateful we are for all that CST do to keep us safe, and in particular to each and every volunteer that has given their free time, especially those who've stood in the cold and rain to provide security at our events. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing many of you in the coming year ahead. And if we can be of help, please do not hesitate to contact us at the office. I wish you all a happy Pesach and all the best for the coming year.
Radio JCOM.
That was Lisa Baker, President of the Leeds Jewish Rep Council, a Radio JCOM production on YouTube.